PhD is already a long journey, so let's not make it even longer, okay? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Developing as Dr. K. I'm so glad that you have come back and joined me here after a little short break in our regularly scheduled programming. And happy first day of Black History Month, okay? And I miss wearing my t-shirts. I have been saving them for such an occasion as this to be here. I'm glad to celebrate Blackness and all that it is. So let's just get right into this. These are 12 bad habits of PhD students. These are mistakes that I've done myself, that I've seen others make, that I just really don't want to keep going on. So let's go ahead and nip it in the bud while we're here. Okay, so mistake number 1 is not taking ownership of your work. A lot of times as PhD students, I think we just kind of get a little bit nervous about putting ourselves out there and about really taking ownership and being like, this is my work. Instead, we kind of just go along with whatever project our PhD advisor has offered or people that want to collaborate on, rather than really taking the initiative to take ownership of the things that we create. It's important to take ownership of your work because you're going to be known for these things in the future. This is what your mark is going to be. And you don't want your mark to be anything short of what you actually feel and believe, right? Number 2 is not applying to fellowships even when you already have them. Y'all, we already know that us PhD students, the pay is slacking. The pay is lacking and we need supplements, okay? We need help. Feel free to send help. We know that we are all kind of struggling just a little bit, okay? So why aren't you applying to fellowships? Yeah, you already have one, okay, great. But is it covering all of your needs? Are you able to do everything that you really need to do? Probably not. And I do have a video on budgeting, so y'all check that out. And of course, it's not anywhere near what most PhD students make. But if you get fellowships that are stackable, meaning you can apply multiple of them at the same time, or you can apply them along with your RA-ship, your GA-ship, or your TA-ship. For those of you who are not yet in the PhD process, a GA is your graduate assistantship. Your GRA is your graduate research assistantship, also called an RA, research assistantship, or your TA, which is called a teacher's assistantship. People get funding from each of these sources throughout their PhD, one way or the other at some point in time. But while you're getting that, it's okay to also have a fellowship that adds to your funds. And more often than not, you need that fellowship to cover your housing, to cover your food. You gotta eat, right? So don't be afraid to apply to those fellowships out there. And I'll go ahead and plug a few. The GRFP is a great one. The Southern Regional Board, they have a pretty nice one. The GEM Fellowship, everybody knows it's great. Microsoft has a really cool fellowship. And so do a lot of other companies. So that's just to name a few for you to get started with looking. 3 mistakes PhD students make is not attending conferences. You guys, you have to attend conferences. You need to attend them just to get your name out there. But not only to get your name out there, honey, we want to travel. We want to see some things. We want to see more of the world. While we are yet PhD students, we still need to get out there and see things and do things, right? So an easy way to do that is by going to conferences. If you are Black in computer science, I highly recommend the Tapia conference. If you haven't been, I also highly recommend checking out some of the CRA conferences. Your advisor knows the conferences that you need to be at, that you need to go to have that exposure that you're looking for. Even if you're not presenting research, there are times like your 4th year and your 1st year that are pretty optimal for you attending these conferences. Not only that, a lot of fellowships that we just talked about applying to, they have conferences attached to them. GEM has a special conference just for GEM fellows, but there are a lot of companies there who are hiring. Not only that, a lot of schools are there who are hiring. So we get the industry side and the academic side, the best of both worlds, right? It's important so you can get that exposure with people who are working on things in your field, but also so you can be exposed to things that are new in your field, that are going on, that maybe you never even thought about working with before. Some terms you never heard before. Some tips that you've never gotten before, things like that. So just look out for those conferences and make sure you're submitting your research, but also make sure that you're going just to go to some of them. The number 4 mistake that I see of PhD students is feeling guilty about not working 24/7. It's okay. It's okay to not work all the time. We are generally people who are, very hard workers. Obviously, we're in the PhD program. You are a hard worker. Everybody knows you're a hard worker. And your advisor knows that too, or else they probably would not have asked you to be a part of their lab, or they would not have accepted you to be a part of their lab. So it's okay to not work all the time. I love this quote that somebody told me, which is that research takes up the time that you give it. So if you give research 10 hours, it's gonna take 10 hours. If you give it 30 hours, it's gonna take 30 hours. The bigger picture is that we want to be doing good work, quality work. And that doesn't necessarily constitute you not having a day off. You do need at least one day off. And some of you are like, well, why do I need a day off? Okay. That leads me to my next mistake, number 5, that PhD students are making, which is not taking care of your mental health. Your mental health is so important, and nobody else is going to advocate for your mental health because only you know what your true mental state is. So it's important for you to do things like going to therapy, going to some activities like in your city. Most of you are in a whole brand new city, but you haven't even seen the things that your city has to offer. Go check it out. Go and check it out with some friends or with your lab mates or anybody, or you don't even need other people. Just go by yourself. I explore Chicago all the time. And even though it's not my favorite city, I can at least say that I didn't stay in my house or in that lab every day. To go along with that, your actual physical health is super important too. You have to go to the doctor. Okay, you need your annual checkups just like always. Ladies, you need your OB appointments just like always. It doesn't stop just because you're in graduate school. You still need to take care of yourself, okay? The number 6 mistake that I see PhD students make is only associating with people in their lab and not joining student organizations. I know it's kind of strange, like joining student organizations when you are maybe a bit older than the other students on your campus, but there are also graduate level organizations that you can join. For example, the Black Graduate Student, and this spans all age groups. And if you find that you're having trouble finding student orgs to meet people at or to join that are really, going to be helpful for you, you can also look for professional societies in your city. For example, the 100 Black Men of insert your city name here. Your alumni association for the undergraduate institution you went to. All of these things, there are so many opportunities to meet people. The Urban League, right, of what insert city that you live in, the National Council of Negro Women, there are a lot of organizations. And also your church probably has plenty of organizations that you can join. Your libraries have plenty of classes for free. I'm taking a sign language class right now with my dad, and it is so cool. I absolutely love going. I'm learning a few things that I might show later. Not in this video, in another video. But yeah, so there are plenty of things that you can do. The number 7 mistake that I see PhD students making is not budgeting. Y'all already saw that I have a video about budgeting, which I will populate here. You don't want to get in a position where you are looking up and realizing that you don't have the funds that you thought you had. Not only that, at the end of your PhD, you're gonna have to move again. You already moved once to start the PhD, but in your 4th, 5th, or last, dissertation years, whenever it's gonna be, you're gonna have to move again. So you need to save up funds so that you can start moving. Not only that, you need to budget yourself so that you can do things that you actually need to do for your mental health and for your physical health. And if you have a car, you have to budget to keep that car maintenance up, sis. The number 8 mistake that I see PhD students making is not leaving when you know that you should. Now, I know that it is hard. It is hard to leave an institution, leave an advisor, leave a lab environment that's toxic, but you have to start setting boundaries for yourself. No one is going to pull you out. No one is going to say, hey, do you think this might not be the lab for you? They might, be slashing insults even, like, are you sure that you're even built for this? Are you sure that you're supposed to be here? You don't look like you should be here, which I've experienced personally. Not in my current lab, but in previous situations. Feel free to watch my video on pivoting, which is gonna be here, to learn more about how I had to change PhD programs in the middle of my PhD. You can't be afraid to leave environments that are unhelpful for you, that are toxic, that are gonna just be pushing you back. If you know that your research area is no longer what you want to do and you feel like you cannot just push your way through it, leave. Start something new. Do something else. If you feel like the PhD is no longer for you, take that leap of faith and leave your PhD. You don't have to stay just because you started it. If you know for certain that this is something you no longer want to put up with, no one's gonna blame you for leaving. You may not look as cool, you might not have the name and the credentials, okay, but is it really worth it? Is it really worth the headache, man? Like, seriously. We all know that PhDs are toxic. That's just it. Why put yourself through that when you know that there's better out there for you? Take a leap of faith, be bold, and leave. I think we're on 8. If we're not, then the next issue I see is people not taking advantage of their classes and or their summer internships. First of all, we are definitely interning, okay? We are getting the bag over the summer, over the spring, whenever we're getting the bag. We are interning, okay? Whether you want to be in academia or industry, you should do at least 2 rounds of internships, bare minimum, so that you can see what's going on, out in industry right now, so that you can network with people, connect with people, right? But also, if you do a research internship, you actually get to produce a body of work aligned with your research. Now, you do need to have those conversations early to try to understand, is this research actually going to be aligned with what I want to do? And if not, that might not be the internship for you. Or, you do it, you take it as an experience piece, and you move on. A lot of times, those internships are building proofs of concept, so you can still use the research that you did to publish later. You can build on it, you can change it, and it might give you ideas for new things that you want to pursue in your dissertation. So why not take advantage of the internship fully? Along with that is classes. In your PhD, a lot of the classes that you take are going to end up being research or project-based. So you're going to be doing a project where other people might be involved, they might not be. You should actually pick projects that you're very interested in. Don't just do enough to get by. Actually get in there and do a project that you care about, that you like. It's gonna make the class go by a lot faster. Hello. And it's actually going to give you an opportunity to publish when the class is over. I've done this twice now, taking class projects and make them into publications. So get in a practice of really picking projects that you actually care about. Coming in at number 9 is not dressing the part, y'all. Just because we PhD students does not mean we have to wear sweatpants every day. we can always switch it up. You know, I love getting dressed to go into the lab and looking nice. Not that anybody's in there, because sometimes I'm the only student that's there. And I'm at my desk, so really nobody's looking, nobody's checking for me. But there are times where I have a meeting with my advisor, or I'm gonna be doing several things that day, and I really wanna try to just look nice for myself. And I think it just helps me be more productive when I look nice. And not only that, if I wanna do something after, I don't feel bad about how I look because I'm already dressed. Now, I don't always wear super nice things, but there are times where I'll wear jeans and maybe some boots or some booties, and a decent shirt. Even if I don't wear jeans, then y'all know Target has the pants that look like trousers mixed with sweatpants. Those are a good medium because they feel like sweatpants, but they look like trousers. So let's go and get some of those. Number 10, it's a big one. It's a big one. Procrastinating. We as PhD students, I just noticed we are perpetual procrastinators, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not like, you know, I don't want to be this way, but it is. We all know the truth. Let's not be procrastinators, right? Yeah, there's nothing much to say about it. We know how to get out of that mode of procrastination. We just don't. This is just a little bit more motivation maybe to break the chain of procrastination. All right, y'all. Next is not tapping into your support system. Oh man, this is a big one. You guys, we have to start calling people, asking people how they're doing, but also getting ourselves checked on. Call your community, call your support, text them, email them, something, reach out. Just let them know that you are around and you need support. Even if you may not need a lot of support at the moment, catch them up on what you're doing so that when you do need support, they know who you are. They're involved in your life already. You don't have to do as long as an update. And they can actually be that extension that they hope to be. And the last thing I see that kind of just goes wrong is people not being themselves. Like, y'all. You need to be yourself. I have tried the code switching in corporate America, outside of corporate America. Some things are just not a part of my personality, and I'm not going to pretend to try and be who I'm not. The PhD is draining enough, and trying to be somebody who you're not, it only adds to that burden. It only makes it even more draining for you. So go ahead and get in a habit of just being yourself. It's okay to bring people into your world, you know, ground level, base level. You don't have to use all this huge terminology to make yourself sound extra smart. It's okay. You are smart. You are capable. You are powerful. You are all of those things, and you don't need to do anything extra to make yourself even more so. Just trust in who you are. Trust in who God's made you to be. And live in that, walk in that, sit with that. So I hope you guys are having a great experience in your PhD. Comment down below PhDing and loving it, or PhDing and hating it, something. Let me know that you're getting a PhD down below. Go ahead and like this video, comment, share it, subscribe to the channel, all the things. Great to have you here. Can't wait to see the rest of Black History Month. So let's lock in.